Learn how to turbocharge your marketing results by building repeatable, scalable demand gen systems from Sheila Klefkorn, CEO of KEO Marketing and founder of the Business Owners Marketing Academy. See if you qualify for a complimentary marketing roadmap for your business at keomarketing.com/audit.
You're listening to B2B Growth, a daily podcast for B2B leaders. We've interviewed names you've probably heard before, like Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek, but you've probably never heard from the majority of our guests. That's because the bulk of our interviews aren't with professional speakers and authors. Most of our guests are in the trenches leading sales and marketing teams. They're implementing strategy. They're experimenting with tactics. They're building the fastest growing B2B companies in the world. My name is James Carberry. I'm the founder of Sweetfish Media, a podcast agency for B2B brands, and I'm also one of the co-hosts of this show. When we're not interviewing sales and marketing leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of our own business. We'll share the ups and downs of our journey as we attempt to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show.
Welcome back to B2B Growth. Again, I'm your host for today's episode. I'm Sheila Klefkorn, CEO of KEO Marketing. This is the 7th episode in the #Demand Gen series, and I am joined today by Greg Lim, CEO and founder of Persosa. So Greg, thanks for being on the show. You participated in a panel that I moderated last week on B2B marketing and the future of technology, right here in Arizona, and you were fantastic. So as a result of that, I'm thrilled to have you join us today for this podcast as well.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Sheila. I really appreciate it.
So today, the topic that you're going to share with us is about personalization, and it's something that I'm really excited about because I agree with you. It is the future of where B2B marketing and B2B growth is going. So you're going to be talking about why personalization is the single most important growth initiative for your company as we head into 2020. Is that right?
Correct. Sounds like a good plan.
Great. Well, before we begin, can you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and about your background and how Persosa came to be?
Yeah. Well, my last big stint was I spent 7 years at LifeLock. Where we helped kind of create the whole industry around identity theft protection. So as a marketer now, I am not actually a marketer by trade originally. I oversaw the finance organization through lots of our funding rounds and through the IPO, ran the company's strategy and operations for a while, and actually popped into the marketing department to help out with the project. And there was some turnover and ended up becoming the CMO for a year and a half with zero marketing experience. So a little bit of a trial by fire, but fell in love with marketing and being kind of on the front end of being able to, share the company vision, articulate how we can help our customers and clients. And really, that was the starting point for...
That's great. I mean, being able to know that much about the other aspects of the business made you a better CMO, I can only imagine.
Well, I hope so. It was also a bit of a trial by fire, so I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes, but... we didn't go out of business, so I'll chalk that up as a win. But one of the things we did there while I was CMO is we spent a lot of money on persona development and surveys and really kind of understanding our customer. But I always found it very unusual that despite having 10 different personas, each persona had their name and where they lived, and they had 3.5 kids, you name it. But despite all of these personas, everyone who came to our website got the exact same experience. And so that was kind of the beginning or the inkling of what would eventually become Persosa.
Oh, that's exciting. So that big idea, founded from that position that you probably never expected to have, created something that is now helping so many companies really become much more relevant to their customers. I just love that journey that you've been on.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, stepping back from it, it's a pretty simple premise. Sheila, you and I are different people, and everyone listening is different from us. Yet when we go to a brand's website, we all get the same experience. And that just fundamentally doesn't make sense, right? And what we've figured out with Persosa is how to make it easy for companies to have personalized conversations with each and every visitor to their website. And we've found that to be pretty transformative in terms of conversions, leads, and engagements for our clients.
So when we were on the panel, you gave some examples of how that works in real life. Could you share some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm fortunate. A couple of weeks ago, it was my 10-year wedding anniversary. So it's been many, many years since I've been on a bad date. But, all of us at some point in our lives have probably been on a bad date. And the number one reason for a bad date is that someone ignores everything you tell them and just talks about themselves, right?
That
If that
is
would
a bad
happen,
date. And
yeah,
we've all been on one of those. Yeah.
unfortunately, I imagine so. So, I mean, if that would have really happened in real life, one, you'd never go out with that person again, or you'd be calling your friend and trying to crawl out that bathroom window like in a bad sitcom, right? So, but if you think about it, that's exactly the experience that everyone has when they go to a website. You're telling that company or brand what you're interested in. You're clicking on an ad, you're clicking through from an email, you're searching for a specific product or service on Google. And so you're telling the company the things that you're interested in and want to learn about. Yet when you come to the website, they completely ignore all of that and just give you the exact same web experience as everyone else, which is really them talking about themselves. So something that would be completely unacceptable in real life, we've really normalized as marketers within the context of digital marketing and consumer engagement.
So we've heard a lot of people say, we need to get more personalized, but I think most marketers and even most business owners or business leaders get overwhelmed with what it must take to deliver that kind of personalization, especially if they have a lot of different groups of customers or clients.
That's a really great question, Sheila. That's probably the top three questions we get is people know they need to do personalization, but I've got 5 personas and I've got 10 pages on my website, and each page has 20 areas of content. And you extrapolate that out, and it sounds extremely scary and overwhelming. What I would say is most companies' websites are at a 0 in terms of personalization. So, although, yes, we'd all love to get to a 10, moving that needle from 0 to a 2 to a 3 to a 4, at each one of those little steps unlocks incremental value. So, a real example I have is one of our clients is WAG, Uber for dog walking. What we were able to do is we were able to just change 3 pieces of content on their homepage and drive significant results. So in San Francisco, for example, if someone came in from the city of San Francisco to their website, we switched out the hero image of someone walking a dog out their front door to someone walking a dog in Golden Gate Park. And we changed the H1 text or the hero text to say San Francisco's most trusted dog walking service. And then we localized the testimonials to be from 2 people actually in the city of San Francisco.
And that's all done dynamically.
That's done dynamically through our platform. But just by changing those 3 pieces of content, we were able to reduce the bounce rate by over 36%, increase time on site 170%. And by repeating that across each one of their 9 major markets, we were able to save over 100,000 clients for them over the first month that would have otherwise have left and not stayed to learn more about the brand and engage with them specifically. So
that's tremendous. Because I was just reading a report a couple of weeks ago about how most nearly half of marketers think they're doing some level of personalization, but the amount of personalization is like pulling in the name on an email. But when it comes to the website, other than when you log in and it says your name, most websites don't have any personalization at all, and certainly not even at the more simple level that you've just talked about.
That's a really good point, Sheila. I think personalization is a bit of a buzzword these days, like AI and machine learning. And so there's a lot of confusion in the marketplace. There are varying degrees of personalization. The way we use it at Persosa is to refer to kind of full site personalization, the ability to change any and all content on the website. And then to your original point there, the latest stats are actually even more alarming than 50%. I think the number is 82% of marketers think they're doing a great job personalizing their conversations with visitors, yet only 10% of consumers feel like they're being personally engaged by brands. So that's a
huge disconnect.
That's a pretty big gap. Exactly, right? So I think on the panel last week, we spoke about playing the game. Imagine if that was real life. You think you're doing your job 82% of the time, and your boss or your spouse thinks you're only doing it 10% of the time. That's not a great place to be. And so I think as marketers, we really need to step back and look in the mirror and be really honest. Are we doing as good a job as we think we are? And how could we be doing a better job to personally engage our clients?
Such a good point. So the other thing that is really common in B2B marketing now is account-based marketing. So how does that work with personalization?
Yeah, account-based marketing, I think, is a really good start and movement, especially in the B2B world, towards personalization. Where the majority of account-based marketing falls short is, you are having targeted messaging around the vertical, the company, perhaps the specific role of the individual that you're reaching out to. Yet, when you finally break through that noise and grab their attention, and they finally click on that email or that display ad or however it is that you're reaching out to them, you're going to send them to the website. And that's where it kind of falls apart. So you go from these targeted emails and all this great targeted ABM campaigns that you're running. But if your website isn't personalizing, that whole campaign collapses a little bit. So
So true.
web personalization is a great way to extend and to amplify what you're already doing on the account-based marketing side of things.
hmm So you're saying that marketers are better at doing personalization off of the website, either with ads or with emails, but it's really the website, the hub of everything, that is the major gap.
That's exactly it. And that's why personalization shouldn't sound overwhelming or scary. You're already doing it. The problem is most of it is off-site. And so really think of programmatic advertising. If you're using algorithms to serve up this really hyper-targeted ad that you think will resonate with your audience, and they click on that ad or email or really any other media, when they go to your website should be able to dynamically change to match that content. It's a pretty simple concept. And that's why I believe website personalization is the single biggest point of leverage for your company, right? You can spend money in each of those other channels, but at the end of the day, you're driving people to your website. And so if you can get your website optimized and being personalized and performing as well as it can, it's going to have an impact across all of those different channels that are ultimately driving traffic to your website.
Absolutely. And if you can improve your conversion rates on the website, then you can spend less money, right? On all those campaigns because you need fewer people to push through the funnel.
That's exactly it, Sheila. I think for so long as marketers, and trust me, I don't know all the answers. I've been doing the same thing myself for many years, is because it's been so difficult to personalize, right? Gosh, we got to create 10 versions of our website. We got to call our IT department. This is sounding really onerous. It's a lot easier for me just to spend money on paid media to drive more traffic. But the technology is out there now. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased to Persosa, but the technology is out there now where we can make it easy to personalize the website, where it's much more efficient to optimize conversion than it is to keep pumping money into paid media.
Oh, which is so smart to do it that way. So, what's something that our listeners could do themselves to move themselves along in terms of personalization? And then, how can having a partner like Persosa help?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is even outside of personalization, we spoke about this the other week on the panel, is there's such a focus on data and machine learning and your technology stack. And as marketers in general, we've become hyper focused on the technology. And I think it's really important to step back and just refocus on our customer. So even before we start personalizing, I think it's just important to pick up the phone, send an email, reach out to your current clients, understand what it is they love about your product or service, perhaps what it is they don't love about your product or service and areas that you can improve upon, and why they use you versus other options in the marketplace. And so I think for all of this talk of technology and data, it's all critically important, but those are just tools to help facilitate a conversation with your client. So the first thing I recommend is literally picking up the phone and calling 10 of your clients over the next couple of weeks and taking 30 minutes to listen to them, understand them. And from there, that'll give you some really interesting insights on what you can personalize and how you should personalize.
That's such a great point. And any size company can do that.
Exactly, right? Fortune 500 to Amy's flower shop on the corner of First and Main. All of us as marketers and just business people in general need to listen to our customers a little bit more. And then in terms of personalization and Persosa specifically, well, really one of our advantages with Persosa that we've figured out is how to make it easy to implement personalization. We work on any platform. We install with a single script of code, no different than dropping an ad roll or Google Analytics pixel in. And our average customer speed to revenue is less than 3 weeks. So we've taken what Adobe's already doing in the enterprise space, but instead of taking $250,000, 9 engineers in a 6-month implementation cycle, you're literally up and running in weeks, delivering personalized experiences. And delighting your customers.
That's fantastic. And having that kind of leverage to get that personalization and those increased conversions and just a much better customer experience is really, really powerful. So are there any other key points that you want to leave our listeners with today as we start to wrap up?
Yeah, I would say there's no better time to start personalization than now. One of the top questions we always get is, well, I haven't really fleshed out my personas yet, so I'm not sure what I would even do on my website. And our first recommendation for 90% of our clients is just take a look at the traffic that's coming to your website. Are they emails been driving them? Are they clicking on paid media campaigns? Is it paid social? What's the message? What's the imagery and that offsite content that's driving people to your website? And then just create matching on-site experiences to support and amplify all of that offsite activity. So don't get overwhelmed with the data or persona development. Step one is always just start with what's working today and just take those offsite campaigns and create matching on-site experiences to better engage your audience. That's a really simple and straightforward place to start.
Yeah, that is a really great place to start. So, Greg, this has been a really great conversation. I truly love your perspectives on personalization and really stepping back and thinking about how that experience would be if you were on a date. I think that's such an important point that we sort of get too focused on the marketing of it and not focused enough on the customer experience. And as a result, by treating everybody the same with our websites, that we are really doing a disservice to our customers and to our business itself.
Yeah, our customers are telling us what they're interested in. We just need to step back and really listen. And so it's no different than a conversation like we're having now, Sheila. You just need to have an authentic conversation, listen to what the other party is telling you, and then have a conversation back to them around that same topic. So like I said earlier, if you take it out of the web context, it sounds crazy, but when you put it in digital marketing, we've kind of normalized that behavior. So I think it's a real opportunity for those companies that want to start personalizing. It's a very easy way to differentiate themselves from some of that poor communication that is currently going on out in the market.
Well, Greg, I love that you've founded Persosa. What a great company doing really important work. If anybody listening has a follow-up question or would just like to connect with you, what would be the best way for them to find you?
Yeah, just go to our website, www.persosa.com. That's PERSOSA.com. Or just go ahead and shoot me a direct email, Greg, Greg, @persosa.com. Happy to answer any questions and be a resource for anyone who wants to learn more about personalization.
Great, thanks, Greg. That's so important, and to have you as a resource is really generous of you. So thank you again for being on the show. We really appreciate it. That's a wrap on this one. We've loved having you, and we look forward to the next episode. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sheila. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey guys, if you've been listening to B2B Growth for a while, you know we're good friends with Sangram over at Terminus. So we wanted to let you know something really cool he's up to lately. This week and this week only, Sangram's newest book, ABM is B2B, is available for just $1.99. That's right, $1.99, a steal from the regular $14.95 price. And here are a few reasons why you want to check out this book. One, you'll learn stories from 6 companies and the specific steps they took to take their ABM program from good to great. You'll also learn the team framework that Sangram talks about and is time-tested in over 100 companies. If that's not enough, they're giving away 100% of the profits and $10 per review of the book to the New Story charity. So check out the link in the show notes to take advantage of this screaming deal and get your copy of ABM is B2B by Sangram Vajre and Eric Spett on Amazon for just $1.99 this week.